And please thank Peter. Incredible introduction. We worked for weeks and weeks and weeks on that. And, it's also, I don't know, has anybody been to this club before?
No!
And this will probably be the last time for most people. I hope he still pays me. But anyway, I'm sorry I'm a little late because I went to the Thai massage next door just before I came. It always calms me down. And I don't know if people are still married in the room. It doesn't look like it actually. It looks like die-hard fans, lonely people. That's what it looks like. But people will know that marriage really has had it, and really monogamy is the way to go for the future. But what's helped marriage these days? What helps marriage is the Thai massage, and because the shed has really been replaced by the Thai massage outlets. So if you get any suburb you go to, say Coogee, there's about 1,000 Thai massage outlets in Coogee. Mate, it's just a show, mate. But if you, no, seriously, if you do feel them as a shout out, and because maybe in your youth you were interfered with by somebody in the Maitland area, try and just contain it, because we've got about a 70-hour show to get through, and if everybody's going to let loose, it's going to turn into a weekend here. And I had a lot of trouble finding this fucking place. Even the GPS did. I mean, she just threw her hands up in the car and just can't help. But so if that's an issue, mate, just try and deal with it. Not that I'm unaccustomed to it, because I've been a performer in this fucking country for 30 years, and at every show there's somebody who's just a lost person who thinks that vicariously they can relive their life through me. But mate, the thing you have to understand is I'm as fucked up as you are, right? So it doesn't matter, what you say, or whether you think that your life will be retrieved through me by some magic. I'm fucked up. Why else would I be here in this Chinese restaurant? Anyway, what I was talking about the Thai massage, and if people are still married, they'll understand, because every South African on the way home from his work, he stops off at the Thai massage, and wherever it is, somewhere in Bondi Junction, and says to the wife, "I'll be home soon, darling," and he goes in there, and the little Thai girl will say, "Would you like me to rub your ball, or lick the top of your knob?" And there's a lot of people that have been married will know that sort of thing is not happening in marriage anymore. Marriage is virtually, there's no sex. Everyone had sex in a marriage not in years. It just doesn't happen. All you do is you make excuses in your head for not fucking doing it. And, I don't know about that guy, but it's a show, mate. It's just a show. You need to relax. And I tell you what, and next door, you should go next door. It's $45 for 90 minutes. And hey?
Cheap.
You don't want to give too much away, mate. Anyway. So, because people know that what I'm saying is fictitious. Yeah. Anyway. It's just a show, mate. It's just a show. These people have been following me for many, many years. They know that, and they sit in the front row and they shut the fuck up. But and as you know, and as Robert knows, my show is now entirely written in China, and I have a team of 2,000 Chinese writers. They actually work in a sweatshop in Bangladesh, which is so weird, and that's where they write all my material now. And one of my writers, my head writer, a bloke called he said to me, because Chatswood is a predominantly Chinese suburb now, and he said to me this Chatswood Club, this the hard work of the day. You done that, that's a made about it, that's the smart, the hard work day, that's a good day. It's not shut about it, that's a made day about this day. Anyway, I said, what? Anyway. I feel like I'm among friends here. Because for years, Philip Adams is here. How are you, mate? Good on you. Good to see you out of bed. And people like Philip Adams? There he is, Philip Adams. One of the worst radio shows in the country's history. But welcome, Philip, anyway. And what brings you up here? See, all the personalities off there, off the radio or off television, when they're just on the loose, they just can't put a fucking sentence together.
No, they're scared.
That's good, that was good. Are you an employee here?
Yeah.
Not for much longer.
I'll speak to the boss.
Yeah. Because everybody is shicker, aren't they? Everybody, this country is just full of shickers and or drunks, and that makes me proud. When I see my daughter vomiting on the car, and and all her friends projectile vomiting all over the cross, it makes me proud to be Australian. And we've got a lot to be proud of, haven't we? When I go to a bar these days, I glass myself. That's how proud I am. I don't feel that proud to be Australian. Sometimes I just walk around going, fucking sport, fucking sport, sport, fucking sport, fucking sport, sport, fucking sport, sport. See, I was married for 13 years, right? And I built a shed 30 kilometres from the house, which is now a Thai massage outlet, full of South Africans. I can't believe that, it's out of control. We need to pop your pop. But if people experience South Africans parking in front of their driveway, and the South African can justify, every South African can justify parking in the driveway. But when they're at the Thai massage, and I've been in the Thai massage, next door actually, working next to me, saying, I can't believe that, would you mind putting it a little harder? And you like me to touch your ball, or rub your knot, or hold the pop. That's hot. Anyway, if people have seen my show before, they'll know that it's nearly 100 hours of tour de force. It's a very powerful show. And then we take a bit of a break. Sorry? Is that guy an employee? I can hear everything you say. You've got one of those voices, mate. You're upsetting. It's a fairly civilised crowd. And very unusually, a fuckwit like you is standing out there. Because most shows you would be completely at home. Because the show would be full of fucking idiots like you. That's what Australia used to be like. Things have changed, mate. Even Chatswood is different now. Are you going to talk all night? What's your problem? What is your issue?
I can't believe this. Can you hear me?
I can't believe you can hear. Everybody in the room can hear you, mate. Even that guy from the Maitland Archdiocese. The priest said to him one day, I'm just going to drive up to Narrabri for the afternoon, and maybe we'll have a little tinkle. Is that what happened? Who hasn't been, interfered with by the priest in this country? Look at this whole front row here. Everybody here, obviously. We're all fucked up by the Catholic Church. Sorry?
The Anglicans.
Don't talk back. If you go to the movies, Arnold is there, talking to the Terminator. You don't start talking to the screen, because I think you're fucking nuts like that idiot over there. Like that fucking loose road in that corner. We going alright, or we going? We're doing our best. Anyway, my Chinese writing team, they said, this is the harder work there, that's a minute about there, you can't understand it. And so, but I came along anyway. I came here anyway, and I'll probably end up with 300 or 400, which is probably what most people make in a year in this room. Is that what the New Start thing is at the moment? Or? Anyway, at the beginning of my career, and there are some young people here, which is very unusual too. It's normally just geriatrics with Zimmer frames at my shows now. Because as I grow old, you know, the audience grows old, and eventually I won't even be able to make it to the stage. I had trouble pulling on my pants this morning. I just talked to my pants saying, what's the fucking point of going on? Do people do that? Any of the women? Are you watching what I'm doing here or not? You just seem dislocated. Where are you from? What do you do? What's your job? Can't remember. Doesn't matter. We're Australians. We're all in the same boat. Nobody cares about work. Is that right? Just a show. Anyway, at the beginning of my career, I had a big record called Australiana. Do people remember this? When it came out, I was like, yeah, mate, an absolute loser. And this was in the early 80s. I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know whether I wanted to be a lawyer or an academic or a filmmaker or an artist. And I chose comedy for some fucking reason. And it's been a terrible ride. It's nauseating. And I can't wait to die, to be honest. Anyway, but that's what we've got in common. And I'll tell you what. But Australiana changed my life, and it made me into a giant star, and as you can see, things have worked out pretty well. What the fuck is this carnival room? And this is what I do most of the time. This is one of the biggest crowds I've had in many, many years. The other weekend I was in a place called Gulgong, which is where Banjo Patterson comes from, and one person came to my show at the Gulgong RSL Club. So I sat at his table, I did the entire 200-hour show at his table. And about halfway into it, about 60 hours into the show, he said, "You're not fucking funny, mate." And he walked home. And I'll tell you what, it was the most pleasant experience of my life because I finished my show on my own, 140 hours. Except there weren't cameras, there was nobody to witness it. How are you, mate? How's the chemo going? All right? Anyway, that's just to get me out of a tight spot. But when Australiana first came out, before Peter Garrett was electrocuting electricians, people remember Peter when he had integrity. He's not going to be a minister anymore, and I think that's a good thing because I hope he doesn't go back to the band. I hope he just goes back to the chemo, because when I first met him, that's what he was doing. He was heavily into chemotherapy in the late 70s. Peter Garrett, do people remember Peter? Yeah. Peter Garrett was somebody we believed in. Isn't that true? That's true, isn't it? With the pedophile. We had hopes and dreams all attached to Peter Garrett back then, didn't we? Hey? And now monogamy is at risk. Has anybody been to the Thai massage lately? Because a lot of the women wish that they could go to the Thai massage, but there isn't really an outlet for them at the moment. Maybe there's an app. Because how many men have been at the Thai massage here? How many men that are married? You're happy to would you like to speak about, because we have a section towards the end of the show, it's a 12-hour section of the show where people in the audience come up and they're videotaped talking about their experiences at the Thai massage, and then we online.
I can actually talk about it for quite a while because it doesn't actually happen. The happy ending never happens. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Luckily we got that on tape. But what do you mean the happy ending doesn't happen?
With the happy ending, it just never happens.
Because you haven't worked it out properly in your head. You haven't worked out how to do it. You ask that guy right there, the guy that looks like Fella Balance. That's a guy with experience. How was your situation? Are you married? Is that your wife there, mate?
No.
So you'd be pretty happy to share your experiences up at the Thai massage there, up at the Titanic in La Perouse. Sorry?
Not really.
What do you mean, not really, mate? It's an open forum here. There you go. There's some loser from the eastern suburbs. He's just opened himself. What else you got to share about the time? What about you, Robert? How about you, mate? It's just a gutless crowd. We have cameras everywhere in the room because this new DVD that I'm releasing, Flogging the Dead Horse Tour, following Glenn Shorrock around the country relentlessly, is it's coming out in August, and we're just picking up. You all right there? What happened? Are you a smoker? There's a smoking area here. There's also a cancer area. We've got everything. Everything's happening here. You can chuck your lungs up all over the balcony. No worries. Mate. What? Something caught your fancy then, mate? Because you became apoplectic for a second. What was it? What grabbed you? There you go. That's because we're a highly educated bunch. A civilised, sophisticated, cultured bunch of Aussies. Everybody is so fucking rounded in this country, have you noticed? And I get, people come up to me in the street and they go, "Here's your fucking career going, you big fucking loser." And it makes me proud to be Australian, because I love a sun-cunt burn tree, I tell a sunburned country. But I'd like to kick the show off, because it is a long show, it's a powerful show, and we're going to do a lot of Chopin tonight. I'm going to start with Australiana. And when I first met Peter Garrett in Coogee, where he was originally living there, when he was doing the whole chemo thing back in the 70s, he was flooding a baby seal to death with some wood from a Queensland rainforest. Now, it's Peter Garrett, and right then I thought there's a little bit of credibility gap there, but we stuck it out. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to start with this record. Do people want to hear this, Australiana? Because it is, it's predominantly a room of people that are going to die shortly, and so this is sort of a nostalgia. You all right? Okay? Yeah, she's off. Hey? Is everything all right? What's going on? Yeah.
It's not a rock around to be.
Hey! But we got a good sort of, we got a room full of people from different walks of life, which is great. I mean, there's a guy, an absolute fuckwit, and we got Jewish people from the eastern suburbs, we got Chinese people, we got Holocaust survivors, we got people that've been interfered with by the Catholic Church, we got highly educated, we got Philip Adams lookalikes, so there's a joke for everyone tonight, and I think there's even an Asian, one of my writers, an Asian girl. Are you from? Where were you from? Sorry. Sorry. Oh, Japan. Well, we might get you up a bit later to apologise. Is that all right? No, I shouldn't do that, but Peter might get upset. Is that okay, Peter? We're pushing it too far, mate, or?
My wife's tired anyway.
Because there's your wife's tired. That's good. Well, you get that's a double whammy for you, isn't it? You don't even have to go up to the Thai massage. You like me to run the ball? Anyway, but we're all into the Japanese food, and thank you very much for that. But we didn't appreciate Sandakan and the Burma Railroad thing, and Bridge on the River fucking Kwai, and the Weary Dunlop stuff, and Sampan, and Okinawa, and later on, that Japanese backpacker over there will be apologising for all the damage done, and then no more tsunamis. Anyway, no, I did that. I did that in a place called Kiama. I actually got the girl up, and then she started to cry, and everybody in Kiama felt bad. So don't cry, don't worry. It's just a show. A lot of the stuff in here is fictitious, except a few people here are seriously fucking nuts. But the show is real. It's true, isn't it? It's a comedy. You're okay with the, huh? Because quite often, because I'm Jewish, quite often we get German backpackers up there and we make them apologise. Or sometimes we set British people on fire for the whole, for the genocide of the Aboriginal people. There's a lot of stuff in the show for everyone. So, but if you feel the need, if you'd like to get something off your chest, here's a forum. It's Chinese predominantly, but if you want to come up here and say, oh, sorry. So sorry. Because the Emperor was a bit fucked, let's face that. Anyway, but Truman dropped the bomb and just to impress the Russians, wasn't it? Or, have anybody been watching the Untold History of the United States? Does anybody know anything about anything in the crowd? Because I will be jumping around a little bit. It could get a little bit tangential and exponentially, and you'll be completely fucking lost. You know, be fucking sport, Anyway, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful to be here. Anyway, for the younger people, does anybody in the younger troop here know this Australiana thing? Because this is a routine that I kicked off with, and it was good to me. And then at the beginning of my career, I said to myself, if I'm at the Chatswood Club 33 years from now, with fuck all people, but honestly, it looks like a mental asylum in here. Would you not like to apologise? Is that on the calendar? Anyway, but no, in Kiama they got very upset at me for getting the Japanese chick up there. But she did say sorry, and it all helps, doesn't it? Because when Geoffrey Robertson arrived here in the 12th century, and he said to the people up there at the Bribey Island RSL Club, he said, "Julian Assange." Do people know Geoffrey Robertson? Yes. This is a guy that came from Eastwood or Epping, right? And he grew up saying, "Fuck off, you fucking stupid cunt," and then landed in England, and suddenly, Julian Assange, he turned into a Shakespearean actor. And Tony Jones will never pick up on that on Late Night. He'll never say, "Come on, Jeff, just fucking drop it." It's enough, Jeff. Just fucking pull the plug, Jeff. You know, we're sick and tired of it. Yeah, Julian Assange. Anyway, when he arrived at the Bribey Island RSL Club in just after Attila the Hun and whatever, and he said, look, you see what's happened is that the whole thing has been turned on its head. Would you mind standing over there? And the Aboriginal people said, "Fuck off, you white cunts!" And straight after that, the Aboriginal people took revenge on the white man, and they gave us gambling, alcohol, and domestic violence. And if you look at this guy, or this whole table down here, you can see the fucking damage they've done. It's about time the Aboriginal people apologised to us. Kevin Rudd apologised to them for the stolen generation. It's about time they apologised to us for the mess that is that fucking front table right there. I'd like to see an Aboriginal elder like Ida Buttrose or the late Mundawai Yunupingu or Angry Anderson just stand up and say, I don't know if you want to apologise now, it might be the right moment. Is the boyfriend an Aussie? You an Aussie, babe? You have a boyfriend? You an Aussie? Where are you from? The stage. No, just here. But I'd love to see Angry Anderson just apologise. Sorry? Yeah, keep the noise up, that's fine. Be totally disrespectful to the entertainer because we are Australians. Fucking sport, fucking sport, fucking sport, fucking sport, fucking sport, fucking sport. Is she laughing, the Japanese chick? Or is she crying? Does she want to apologise or? Am I pushing this too much? I don't know. Are people feeling that it's like it's a little, are you feeling uncomfortable about it? You're not, but you're shitface. You're about to go to the cross and king hit a stranger. And that makes me proud. When I hear about the Malat boy, trying to get exonerated for axing somebody, I feel fantastic. Because I was at Russ Hims's funeral at Sizzlers, this is nearly 30 years ago. And there was a bloke there, the Australian Minister for Tourism, a bloke called Ivan Malat. This bloke, where are you from?
Born here.
Yeah, no, what nationality? Well, welcome, mate. We like the Sri Lankans. Are you Tamils or? Oh, good. Well, the Tamils are the best, mate. Did you come on the boat? Yeah? You come on the plane or the boat? You plane? Seriously, what? Come on the boat? You're not Sri Lankan? You are Sri Lankan? Indian. Why you say Sri Lankan? Everybody's ashamed of where they really are. I'm Hungarian, but I would never tell anybody. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to kick them anyway. Welcome, man. Well, we got this is like SBS here tonight. We got Japanese and Sri Lankans and Jews and Yobo idiots. Anyway, Philip Adams, you enjoying yourself? You're a good man. You know, you do look like, a lot like Philip. Have you seen Philip these days? He's a mess, just like yourself. He's become old very, very recently. You know how that just creeps up on you? You're jumping around on the, on the fucking, monkey bars, and then you're in, an old age facility, and some fucking nutcase nurse has just set fire to the bed sheets. Because that is part of being Australian. And I'll tell you what, I'm that proud. Aren't we proud to be Australian? Are we happy about Kevin Rudd coming back, hey? Kevin Rudd. Well, at least Labor's got a chance, but I was a big fan of Julia. And I'm running against Tony Abbott again in the federal election for the sex party down in Warringah. Yep. And last time we built the Abbott-proof fence, but we couldn't keep out the budgie smuggler. But I haven't come up with a slogan yet. I'm sort of toying with Stop the Rabbit, but Turn Back Tony. But I'll tell you what, we'll find something, because whatever happens in this federal election, Tony Abbott cannot become the Prime Minister. I wouldn't even care if it was a Japanese chick. If you're prepared to apologise. Anyway, I was just going wild then. I don't know what happened. That was a wild thing. I just lost it completely. Anyway, but just before I get into that Australiana routine, which, to be honest, I can't fucking stand. But I would, if Peter Allen didn't do the Rio thing, I mean, people would complain. And, this club might have to close down. What a fucking shame. Because when I organised my show here, Peter the boss said, yeah, we have lots of shows in here. Yeah, we had Dame Nellie Melba. Anyway, Marlene Dietrich's first show.
Oscar Wilde.
Hey? Sorry? Mate, you are so shit-faced. You're trying to say Oscar Wilde. You said Oscar Wilde. Luckily I'm clever, mate, but a lot of the crowd missed it completely. A lot of people thought you said You sound like fucking Bernie Banton just about the day before he was going to go. Is that what it is? Asbestosis? That's not my fucking problem, mate. I'm trying to do a show. Anyway, but I was on tour in Afghanistan with Barry Crocker. This is a true story. And it was about 2 years, or about a year before the Americans fired 8 warning shots into Osama bin Laden's head. Now, we're touring around, for compassionate reasons, we're entertaining the Australian troupe. And we arrived at, I don't know if people know, the Kandahar Comedy Club. But Afghanistan, is just, there's so many comedy rooms up there. They're all a bit similar to this one. And because the Afghanis love a laugh, they love a chuckle, especially when the Taliban is setting fire to their house. They love a little laugh, a little chuckle. And so we pull up at the Kandahar Comedy Club, which is right on the Salman Rushdie Boulevard, that big boulevard in central Kandahar. And it's the night before the Shiite hits the fan. Anyway, all you can hear coming out of this club is Osama, 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 Osama bin Laden, bin Laden, bin Laden. I will follow him. Anyway, you know what I'm saying, right? Sorry. How old are you, the Japanese girl?
One.
No, seriously, how old? 20? Yeah? 30? Go to my car. But I'll tell you what. So Barry Crocker, do people know Barry? Does anybody remember? Yeah. We just call him BC because he's been around a long time. And Barry Gate, the club is full of Shiites and Sunnis and Salafis and Ahmadinejad and... Anyway, Barry goes in and he starts that song. I don't know, you know that Leonard Cohen song. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. See, my voice can actually make a clitoris stand up. Not in Arab countries because there aren't any, but listen, you're cool, aren't you? Are you Muslim? Don't worry. Are you Christian? Really? Do you know that Jesus was crucified? Do you know that? Because I thought, what if Jesus had been put to death on an electric chair? Every Christian would have to wear an electric chair around their neck. And instead of being called Christians, they'd be called electricians. And instead of doing that, they'd go... Because they killed him with the cross. He died on the cross. That was the killing, that was the implement of killing him. And that's what became the symbol of Christianity, the implement that killed him. So had he been killed by firing squad, that's what he would have to wear around your neck. Which part of this show have you missed, mate? So, because I know that table's spare, mate, but you are sparer than spare. You just seem to have that sort of, you got this look, mate. Which is not a look that I'm not unaccustomed to, because, you know, having worked with fucking idiots since Australiana came, that's what the legacy of Australiana is, because when you have a giant record like that, that's the sort of people you attract. Absolute fucking morons. And that's why Australia hasn't got any comedians. You have, you know, Rodney Roode, do people remember that? Genius. No, he's a genius, but I'm better. But, well, you have Jumoan, do people remember that? If he was here, the room would be packed, right? Excuse me, Yobbos, can you shut up? Because people aren't trying to listen. No, so you're going to keep the voice down, the Yobbos? Oh, you're not that guy's children, are you? The fat guys. Oh, here you are, that's what you are, yeah. I'll get you all in for nothing.
That's my brother!
Hey, I'll get you all in laughing. Anyway, because it is a dumb country, it's an extremely dumb country. There's just a few smart people, but it's a beautiful country with a lot of dumb people. And they want to keep the Chinese out. And I think that's, you know, because my riders, all my Chinese, I got 15,000 Chinese riders that I pay $1 a year to. And they write me thousands of jokes. They all got the H1N1 bird flu. When I communicate with them on Skype, all you can hear is... Anyway, that's an impression of Gulgong, just near the roundabout. But has anybody been up to Gulgong? Has anybody been around New South Wales or anything like that? Anybody travel at all? Because it's honestly, it really seems it's a primitive crowd. But Barry Crocker's on stage and he just at the table, sorry?
No one trusts you. It's fake. It's afraid of you.
What? Well, you know, go kill us all then. Kill all the Jewish people, mate. That's how you feel. Because you're frightened. It's true, isn't it? You're frightened of the Jewish people, mate, because we're so fucking smart. Anyway, so that's the problem, you know. People just, you know, the Japanese, you know, whatever it was. I just have to assemble a train of thought here, because a lot of this stuff is purely improvisational, and you know, when you're working on your feet and when you're as clever as myself, sometimes you get trapped, you know, like in the M5 or something. a bus catches on fire because it shouldn't be in there or something like that. You want to apologise now? Or? It's a good moment because I'm fucked, with my, I don't know where I'm going with the show. I can't see the auto cue and that guy's, that nudnik over there is interfering with me constantly. What is it with you, mate? Just go, kill yourself. If you are thinking of killing yourself, log on to www.suicideprevention/yourwrists.com. Quite often people do kill themselves afterwards. Are you having a good time? Are you enjoying yourself? It's a bit laborious, but I'm doing my best. But Barry Crocker finishes his song and the whole crowd starts to blow themselves up. And when I come out, this is, it's Kandahar Comedy Club, Central Afghanistan. The room is full of body parts when I come out, like any other show. And just before me, there's the Hammond brothers, Mohammed, Shemp Hammond, Curly Hammond, a terrific Iraqi ensemble of elephant handlers. And they go down a treat, but the room is just covered in body parts. And I say to one of the Afghanis or Sri Lankans or whatever you want to be, I say, why do you people blow yourselves up so consistently? He said, because nobody liked Barry Crocker. Now, and I knew why we were up there then. I understood what we're doing in Afghanistan for that second. Because I was at that falafel shop in Newtown. Is this show going to be politically incorrect for people?
Got a glass of water?
Sorry?
Got a glass of water?
That was almost a full sentence. No, it was. It was a noun, a pronoun. Genius. Mate, you'll be up at the special school Monday until we go. I couldn't believe it. He's up at the Austen Tayshus show. Most people are frightened of speaking, but he didn't fucking shut up. Towards about the third of the show, he just comes up with an entire sentence. There's a noun, a pronoun, an adjective, preposition. People were fucking astonished. Couldn't believe it. Can you fuck off now? Is that alright? The Sri Lankans are getting upset. I might take you down underneath downstairs and throttle you. Because that smuggler was a bastard, wasn't he? Hey? You hire these people and they're just fucking useless. They're supposed to interact, add something like you were. How's the show going so far? People enjoying it? It's going well. The top crowd, there's an intensity and intelligence in this crowd that I haven't seen since Chernobyl. And I want to welcome you all here because it's going to be a big night, isn't it, Robert? Hey? So honestly, I'm going to give up this job very shortly. It's just like it's incommunicado. People are so uneducated. I mean, where did you get to? Like Boilermaker? AWU, mate? AWU? BWI, is it? Yeah? DUI, I reckon. How long have you been done? How much time have you been in jail? How many people in the front table have been in jail for long periods of time? Because when Ivan Milat was a tourism minister in Queensland, hey?
None that were me.
No, me. Don't try and be funny, mate. I'm the fucking star here. You enjoy that, eh? The fat cunt? Sorry. I shouldn't say cunt. I shouldn't use the word cunt, because people do get upset at the word cunt, don't they? People think that word cunt is just beyond the pale. Is that right? What about in Japan, is it? I bet they can't say sorry when they say the word cunt. Sorry for saying the word cunt. Anyway, I should know. Sorry. Are people upset about that word cunt? Me using that word cunt?
No, we're all good.
Hey?
We're good.
What do you mean? How about that, Pete? Are we okay with that word, cunt?
No, Pete's okay if I'm okay.
Hey?
Pete's okay if I'm
Mate, now you're getting illegible. It's turning into dribble, mate. Before you made a sentence, people, if you'd shut up then, people think, maybe there's a chance of resurrection.
Off you go, Jesus.
Hey?
Off you go, Jesus. Resurrection.
He's an employee here, mate. I mean, honestly, can you boot him out? Sorry? Yep.
President.
Director.
It's all part of being an entertainment Australia. Because it's a country of nods, absolute fucking nods. I can't believe it. I don't try. Yes, I can't believe it. But the people remember Sylvester Stallone. The people remember the film where he said, or the people remember the sequel when he said, or the people remember when Arnold said, it doesn't matter. Ja, so here, fantastic dear. But have you seen The Last Stand? Has anybody seen that? Yeah, I enjoyed it, I must say. But he didn't make any sense in that film. Do people know what I'm talking about? Hey? What? No, you're not making any sense, mate. Your brain has dissolved. Thank you, mate. Thanks for sharing that with us here on the Ellen DeGeneres half hour. I'm going to start with Australiana. Have you heard? Because it did well in Sri Lanka. There's a giant hit for the Tamils. Yeah, we know we're not Austen Tayshus. But you Indian? Yeah. Really? Are you driving a taxi? No. What do you think of the new app? Do you like the app? Sorry? Well, see, that's the problem. That's the problem with the taxi industry. Anyway, thank God for GPS. Sitting home last Sunday morning, my mate Boomerang said he's having a few people round for a barbie. He said he might cook a burger or two. I said, sounds great, will Wallaby there? He said yes, and Veggie might come to. It's just Aussie words and expressions strung together in a relentless fashion, but people find it fucking funny, you know. We get the party at about 2, or are you okay, the Japanese girl? We haven't attacked you too much? Would you like to come up now and say sorry for the Second World War? I promise, no more, Fukuyama, Fuki, whatever things, no more, no more tsunamis, nothing. Just one little sorry. Because there are people here who are the grandchildren of people who suffered terribly. People that were fat and ended up like skeletons. Anyway, the father, the son of the Holocaust. Do people know that? That's my autobiography coming out very shortly. Australiana. You okay? Did you take the medication? Because with the bipolar thing, you've got to keep taking it. Otherwise, you speed around like Ronnie Levi and get shot on Bondi Beach by fucking idiot police. Or if you're from Brazil, maybe in the middle of the city. Just because you stole a chocky. Hey? And the police get away with it. Because they should. Is that right? Are you a criminal or not? You look like a criminal to me. A lot of people here look like criminals. But that's what Chatswood's become. There's a lot of triads and everything like that around here. That's a better. Baudet, you like that, you work that hot word. A Baudet. Anyway, if I could only understand my Chinese writers, I think I'd be a lot funnier. We get the party in about 2, walk straight out, you know what I'm saying? You catching this? How long have you been living in Australia? Huh?
A little while.
How long?
25 minutes.
25 years? Mate, you're a fucking Aussie. You walk around going, fucking sport, sport. So the only, can you just say, fuck off you stupid cunts. No, go on, no, seriously, don't worry about it. We're recording it, but we won't go anywhere. It's an initiation thing, isn't it? Don't it? Every Australian has to be able to say, fuck off you stupid cunts. sport, fucking sport, fucking sport. She's going to apologise for the Second World War in a second. It's not a big thing I'm asking from you. Just go on, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Hey, fuck off, you stupid cunts.
I have you stupid cunt.
Perfect, hey. And that's what the citizenship ceremony should be. We don't need any allegiance to the Queen. We just need people to walk in, wherever, from Croatia, Latvia, from Japan, China, whatever it is, walk in and say, fuck off, you stupid cunts! You're an Aussie. Fucking sport. That's it. Drink 1,000 beers and drive a car into a wall. Maybe go out and punch some car park, or rape some people on a Saturday night, or hit people who don't deserve it. That should be the ceremony, isn't that right? Are we proud to be Australian? I reckon they should put the P plates on the trees and the crosses on the cars. That's how proud I am to be Australian. Because I love it when you drive up next to a P plater and you're about a kilometre from the middle of the town, and they've got to drive at 200 kilometres an hour, beat you, and into the 60 zone. Because that's what it's all about. Do you understand what I mean? You've been here 25 years.
I've got it.
What? You said you came on the plane. We flew, you grew, all that sort of stuff. Huh? Sorry?
You said bird or plane, so I chose. Not one here.
It's getting very weird in here. Does anybody know exactly what's going on? Not you, mate. You know. You're still in a single men's facility somewhere. On parole. But I tell you what. Are you enjoying the show anyway? Are you a fan, mate, or what?
Oh, no, he brought it.
Hey, he brought you?
He's a fan.
Because he's the taxi driver, is he? It's not on the GPS though, is it, mate? No? How did you find it?
By luck.
By luck. See, Pete, isn't that a great thing, mate? People found the place by luck. There's no science involved. By luck. We found the place by luck. You want to apologise now? Any Germans at all? Any Germans here? Any Germans want to apologise or come clean and maybe say, as a nation we don't feel any remorse but we pretend to? Anybody want to say that? Any of the Germans? As a nation we don't feel any remorse. We just pretend to.
What was that?
Sorry?
Pakistani.
Well, so what, mate? I'm not an impressionist. Two things you have to understand, mate. You're a fat fuck, and I'm a superstar. Anyway, you upset? Or your wife upset? She's been to a few shows, hasn't she? Usually come on your own, don't you? You bring your wife? You stop off at the Thai massage on the way? How many people stop off at the Thai massage on their way home? How many are married? Have you had a few? Do you? Thai massage. Oh, Thai massage. But you try. Did she say don't let the towel drop? Did she say that? Or? And sometimes you let the towel slide across a little bit, or exposing the genitalia, because it. Hey. I know, mate, I'm not married anymore, mate. I'm there 6 or 7 times a week. But I've got the whole thing worked out very, very well. And let me tell you, I'm a smart guy. I've worked out how to get a Thai girl who has principles to turn completely amoral within a period of an hour. And I've had that for 33 years. And because I'm a feminist, I can do that. And I'll tell you what. Because I do a lot of work for the feminist movement. In fact, just recently I was doing their big conference, and Eva Cox rang me up and she said, Jermaine's in town, would you do a few jokes when Jermaine finishes? And there's 1,000 tough feminists, very tough, hardcore feminists, people with tattoos everywhere and, one had a tent peg right through her head, and everything pierced, every orifice pierced. And Germaine did the keynote address. It was about her love affair with Paul Keating, and PJK, this is a true story. And just when she finished, I come out, and the feminists were they were red hot. It was a tough crowd. But I had a t-shirt which said, "I love every bone in your body, especially mine." Now, immediately, I had this very hardcore ideological group of feminists on side, and I said, "Well, what are the 70 things West, 69 and fucking breakfast?" And the crowd was a true crowd. And I said, "How many feminists does it take to change a light bulb?" 2. One to change the bulb and the other to suck my cock, and the crowd goes wild. And I said, "God created everybody male, but the dicks fell off the stupid ones." And I'll tell you what, I got a bigger standing ovation than Julia Gillard got at the US Congress. And I said, a woman goes to a gynecologist, he's looking at a vagina, he says, "Geez, you've got a big vagina. Geez, you've got a big vagina." She says, "You don't need to repeat it." He said, "I didn't." And I'll tell you what, the feminist crowd, you've been up to Genolan Caves, haven't you? Sorry, mate? That's sort of an involuntary something that was happening there. The alcohol was embedded, and then...
Oh, it's always involuntary.
Right?
It's always involuntary.
Sure it is, mate, yeah, sure it is. That's what this culture's based on. That's why the Aborigines need to apologise. Because look what they've done to these people. They've given you alcohol and they've fucked up your lives. I'd love to see an Aboriginal elder just stand up and say,
"Well, fucking sorry. All the damage done to these fucking losers. I'll never do it again."
It's very rare that I entertain myself. That's what's happening here at the Chatswood Club. Who would have known? Because I must have done 100 shows this year, but this is the one that's going to stick in my mind. I made myself laugh at the Chatswood Club, and this is like, it's like being on the special bus. This crowd. There's a few civilised people, but if you looked at this table, if you had the perspective that I have, you'd see what the Aboriginals have done. Oh, because my closest friend is the Aboriginal architect who built Ayers Rock. And this bloke, he had a vision in the 60s. He thought to himself, "This could make a lot of money for the Aboriginal people." And they built this giant thing out of paper mache. And in the 80s, they installed a little dingo girl inside there. So, no, this mate of mine is the architect. He was there when Lindy Chamberlain killed her daughter. Now, it's not her, it's not Azari as I'm concerned. But if you go up to the rock, have you been up there, the fellow there? It's a fairly simple question. Ayers Rock, I mean, have you been to...
No.
What show are you at the moment? You're an Eddie Maguire fan or something? Or you believe that Eddie Maguire's outburst of racist vitriol towards an Aboriginal football player was premeditated, or was just happened and he didn't mean it? It wasn't part of who he is, Eddie Maguire. He's a decent guy, right to the bone. I fell asleep then, sorry. I could just feel, but no, right in the middle of that question I fell asleep. I just thought, there's not a question Eddie Maguire asks on that show that he fucking knows the answer to. Anyway, no, see, it's true, isn't it? He's a Dumbo, right? He's a Dumbo in a position of power, like, because do people remember Kerry Packer at all? Kerry Packer was a formidable presence in the business thing, and now his son Barry is doing pretty well, right? But I was with Kerry Packer's pilot, a bloke with no internal organs but a lot of property, and this bloke, he said to me, "Kerry Packer picked the pilot pretty perfectly." Now, if you know, That chick over there, she's a backpacker, and that was their original name. That was the name of the Packers, the Backpackers. And they were related somehow to the Storming Packers. But they run the country, these people, these fucking idiots. James Packer goes on 60 Minutes with Mike Willis, his mate, and tells everybody that all he wants to do is give back. It's not about the money. He just wants to give back. He wants to give back to the extent that everybody that's got nothing will have less than nothing when he's finished with them. He's going to tear their fucking hearts out and feed them into the poker machines and into the baccarat and into the blackjack and whatever. But he wants to give back. That's who runs this fucking world. They're the people who built this club.
Not this one.
Hey?
Not this one.
Mate, it's just a show. Fucking relax.
Hey, welcome to the Rock.
That's what I have to deal with. I'm an Australian entertainer.
Someone's got to be funny.
Hey?
Someone's got to be funny.
Yeah, well, it'll never be you, mate. But you should go on The Biggest Loser. Because you can satisfy both meanings of that terminology. Anyway, is she alright? Is she okay? Yeah. Is that mum, is it? Or? Is it mum? Really? Well, she brought you up well. Must have been alcohol coming out of the nipples, wasn't it? More vodka kids. Anyway. You okay? It's okay? You're not upset, are you? Now, people get upset and they want to fight me, but it's no point, because I am unfightable. What was that about? Why were you laughing at that? I don't know what I'm fucking talking about, you idiot. Anyway, I'm going to continue with Australiana for Robert, because that's what he comes for. And do people remember the Pope? Not the Argentinian Pope who walks to work and does his own washing, or the one prior to him, the Nazi. Do people remember Pope Benedict, the Nazi Pope? He was in the Hitler Youth. Did you know that? He was in the Hitler Youth. He worked up at Maitland for a few months. Hey? What? Yeah. Can you, when you say that he needs one, can you even shout it even louder than that? Because then you could become the show. I'll be coming back to the Chatswood Club 2086. Are you a fan? No, hey?
Me or you?
Sorry?
No, I'm going to pay the check.
No, I'm not talking to you, fat boy. I'm talking to this guy. You didn't see me before and you enjoyed it, so you brought your friend along. And are you in a relationship or? No, it's not a problem because, with Kevin Rudd back, gay marriage is firmly back on the agenda. And because, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm a gay man. And the whole Austen Tayshus bravado thing is just a cover, because if I went to shows like this and I came out and said, "Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which always very alteration finds obedience that are moved to believe." Oh no. It is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the start of every wandering bark whose worth son although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, the rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it after the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. They would eat me alive. So I had to pretend to be Austen Tayshus. Bug off, get fucked. Because, the real me. Hey, excuse me, that waitress. Can you keep it down a little bit? Go to my car. Is the Japanese girl ready to do it? Who's the boyfriend? He looks like he's been smoking pot all day. Well, I've got a Japanese girlfriend. But anyway, does she want to come up here, mate, or she doesn't? What about you? Oh, well. Hey? Yes, you do, mate. Yeah, you're going out with a Japanese chick. Just a show, people understand. I'm only kidding, mate. I married a Shiksa, but anyway. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to continue with Australiana. Do people want to hear that? Yeah! But before I do, do people remember the Pope, the Polish Pope, John Paul George Ringo. Does anybody remember that Pope? Does everyone remember that Pope before he got shot and after he got shot? Do people remember that Pope when he said, because I belong to the NRMA, and I thought to myself, how's the girl from the community radio? I mean, are you enjoying it? You think it's too provocative, or? Eh? It's genius, really, isn't it? It's fucking genius. But you got to be smart. Sorry, hey? Sorry? Well, why do you have to qualify with something like that? Why couldn't you just leave it at fucking genius? You might have had a bit of a chance with me. Anyway. Right, because I'm a gay man. But the gay boys from Sri Lanka or India. You like some curry dog, or you like some pork dog? You like to take away the dog pork. Like a pork. We eat you pork, you cock. You right, this house mum alright? She okay? She bearing out? Pacemaker working? Have some more chips. Anyway, but I'll tell you what, because we are Australians, the most obese nation in the Southern Hemisphere. Has anybody been up to PNG at all? Anybody been up to Papua New Guinea? Anybody been eaten? You know, cannibalism is still alive and well in Papua New Guinea. Nobody travel up there? Anybody been to Bankstown? Hey?
I said yeah, but it scared the hell out of me.
What, PNG or Bankstown? Hey? Bankstown. Really? You've been out there? What was it like, mate? What happened? Anyway, I would kill everybody up. Were you in Tahrir Square in Bankstown recently? Down in Tahrir Square? The Brotherhood? Were you with the Brotherhood? Were you? The Gypsy Joker Brotherhood? Muslim Brotherhood? I was in that Lebanese restaurant called Hamas is that doggy in the window. There's only 2-3 months back. You did like it? You enjoy it? Is she having a laugh? I can't really tell. Because a lot of people come to my show and they laugh internally, and they actually suppress my jokes. And when and their laughs. So when Jamoan comes to town and says something enlightening like, or Adam Hills says something fucking real clever, like maybe I'll unscrew my leg. Hey? Well, no, mate, because Adam Hills is fucking rubbish, and he's got his own TV show, and here I am, a genius, community radio this kind of working in this shitbox. I'm not even going to cover the fucking petrol from Vaucluse. These cunts. Hey?
Make your Vaucluse.
Mate, why don't you go home and fuck your shoes? There's been a cunt in them all day. I never resort to that line because it's so good. Unless the people that really deserve it. And, you know what you remind me of, mate? You remember that commercial, Crosby's, they're great, mate? That's what you remind me of, mate. That fucking dog in that ad. Are you having a good time in the yob out there? Yeah. You're a yob, You're a yob, aren't you? Yeah. Cricket, football, sports. When you were a kid, your father said, you should go out in the backyard, you stupid cunt, kick the ball around. Not going to school for the rest of your life. Go and get fucked. Is that what it was like growing up? Be on current affair a lot for messing in the yard and stuff? Right? Fighting with the neighbours and shooting the neighbours. Is that you? Is that your family? Don't worry, just go along with it. It's just a show. Some people are starting to realise it. It's just entertainment. Look, look what they've turned on for me here. Look at the fucking discotheque. Quite often, these clubs don't have me back. There's not one venue that I can go back to in Australia. I rang up this guy at the North Bombay RSL Club to get a return show. He said, "You're never fucking coming back here, mate." Well, I wasn't there on the night, but the staff told me you were shit-canning me the whole fucking night. I said, I was. It's a show, mate. And I'm sure Peter's feeling exactly the same way now.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
That's his ventriloquist mate. Fat fuck. We had the party at about 2, walked straight out the kitchen to put some booze in the fridge. You wouldn't believe it. There's Boomer's wife, Warris, sitting there trying to platypus. It's only been out for 33 years. Hey?
It's only 34.
Can we tell the old story about a man named Jay? And up from the ground came a bubbling through.
But welcome. No, it's good to have people in here as thick as you people.
Because tonight we got a little bit of a contrast. Most shows you would be the predominant. Tonight there are people here thinking, who the fuck are those people? But that's what the Aboriginals have done. They've given you the alcohol, the gambling, and they fucked your life. Is there a lot of domestic violence happening in your family? Proud Australians, eh? Shut up! Get fucked! Anyway, this Indian girl, what a great, I mean, it's an incredible country because, now it's predominantly migrants that make and they brought the cuisine, right? What have you brought? Some curry and shit, hey? You got the sushi and the endamame and all that sort of stuff. And the Jews brought some gefilte fish and everything. There's the Turkish food and there's the Chinese that, you get anywhere you go in Chatswood now you can get curry because the Chinese can make a dog taste like a chicken. This Indian girl Masu turns up dying to go to the toilet, but she couldn't find it. I said to me mate Al, "Hey, where can Masu pee, Al?" He said, "She can go out back with the fellas. She's probably seen a cockatoo." So this appeals to absolutely the lowest common denominator. And they flock to my shows, these fucking morons. So instead of me being able to talk about things that I enjoy talking about, I've got to just tell them to all get fucked the whole night. Right?
Finish it.
That sounded like you had cerebral palsy then. Is he okay? He's had something. He's had a stroke or something. He's had a stroke, yeah. He had a stroke because he consumed 2 billion cans of beer. I've always looked after himself. 3 billion, yeah. 2 billion cigarettes. I've always been good with my health. Always used to walk up to the tobacconist. 900 cartons. Fucking sport. Oh, you fuck. Anyway. A couple of Queensland at the party, one smelling pretty strongly of aftershave. He sits down next to me. I turned to him, I said, mate, Eureka Stockade. Was a really hot day. Oscar felt like us when he says to anyone have a dip in the Riverina. She says, I haven't got Macozzie. Oscar will Bo says, come in stark as Wattle Lake. Irina says, what without so much as a thread bow? Perish a thought as you can beat in you. Maybe I could borrow hers. Well, if you'd like to decide to play cricket, I said, Why doesn't Wombat? Yeah, Lieutenant Field, he said I should bowl when I was too early to play cricket. I suggested a game of cards. I said to me, mate, Al, hey, whatever it is. See how I forgot it? Because that family had jumped into my brain. They'd been dancing around. Go and tell you a story about a man. Bill said he'd like a smoke. Nobody knew where the dope was stashed. I said, I think Marie knows, but I was just spinning a bit of a year. Have you heard this before? How old are you?
25.
Go to my car. Works every time. Does the Japanese girl want to come up? How long have you been in Australia? Have you been living here for a while, the Japanese girl? She's frightened. She's afraid now, isn't she? You're right. They get frightened. How long have you been in the country? Because, you know, eventually Australia will be a Muslim country, and as every other Western country will be, the top-to-toe burqa will be a staple, right? And because quite often when I see those top-to-toe burqa things, they got the little slit there, so I put my mail in there. And it gets fucking delivered. Anyway, just then, Alice springs into action. Have you heard this before? Seriously?
Some parts.
Some parts. It's so weird. That is so weird. That was the weirdest thing when you said some parts. What did you mean by that? Some parts. It's a routine. You can't take some part of the routine and hear it out of contextual. It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying or what? What do you do? Where do you have a job?
Yes.
What's your job?
IT.
IT, of course. It. And how long have you been in it? It's actually it, you know, some parts.
5 years.
5 years, have you? Well, you must be smart. Why would you take a routine that's a fucking, you know, like an anthem in this case? Is somebody gargling there? What a country, mate, honestly. In America, they sit there, they listen to the show, and they go home. How about that? Isn't that wild? They don't say, hey, where are you from, you fucker? You're not as funny as I am. Fuck you! In Australia, as soon as you open your mouth, I'm up in Port Macquarie, this is a few months ago, at a place called Laurelton Hotel. 200 people waiting to see my show. Just before I start, they wheel in the fucking vegetable in the wheelchair, right to the front row, with the carer. I start the show, he says, what the fuck do you do? The guy's a hero in the town because he fell off the train 30 years ago. He's a fucking hero, like the fat cunt over here. Because everybody's fat in Chatswood. What does the comedian do? If you attack the guy, the hero, the show is ruined. I started to call him Train Man because I just couldn't take it anymore. Eventually, after an hour and a half of the show, the carer thought, maybe I should take him out. Fucking genius. By then, the whole crowd wanted to eat me. It was like a crowd full of, you fuck. AT girl. You can't take one line out of Australiana and make a meal of it. It's a routine. Have you been to a comedy gig before? Carl Barron, was it? This is me ass, it's me bum. Hey, he's going. It's me bum in the back of me. It's me bum. Brilliant. Hey, he's going. Oh, trying to be a clever comic in a country of fucking dumbos. No wonder I'm bankrupt. No wonder I'm working at the Chatswood Club. No comedian has ever worked here or will in the future. Sorry? What have you got to do with it? Hey? You like Calvera? I know you do, mate. That's why you're sitting there with all those fucking yellow idiots. You are Australia, mate. You don't have to apologise. I thought, hey, you probably think that the boat people shouldn't come here. You think that the boat people should be turned back. Hey? Well, everybody's a boat person, aren't they? You're probably 10-pound ponds, are you?
Oh, even worse.
What?
Dutchman.
Oh, Kiwis. Are you Kiwis? Kiwis and Dutchmen. I think they call them Kidos. Kidutch. Shut up. Anyway, if you think Chatswood's a toilet, I was in Auckland the other day, and you sit around the whole day waiting to have a shit just so you'll have something to do. Isn't it fantastic what happened in Christchurch? There was a thing that the whole world was looking at. Wasn't it incredibly fantastic? It's intense. There's only two things that we've ever shared with New Zealanders. One was Anzac, the second was Centrelink. Or Centrelink, I think they say. And Anzac Day... Settle down. The fuckwit family is starting to lose it. What a country, how can you believe it? It's a shunder, that's what it is. We had civilised Jewish people. As the son of a Holocaust survivor, I was in Melbourne, and I got in a taxi in Melbourne, and the cab driver was a German. He said, "Where do you want to go?" And I said, "Heidelberg." Because I had nothing to do that day. So I get in the taxi, and we started to sing, "Die Vöglein im Walde, die singen so wunderbar in der Heimat, da gibt's auch wieder. Sind da gut schön? I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, ich bin ein Berliner. He starts to make a sunroof in the taxi. We're talking about the Third Reich, the Fourth Reich, the Fifth Reich, how the Germans couldn't care less about how many Jews they've murdered, etc., etc. Sorry? Yeah, mate, whatever. What the fuck was that? That's something that came out of a fat globule somewhere, right? It was an involuntary moment when the fat globule exploded.
Something to distract you long enough to get out. Yeah.
Sorry?
Something to distract you long enough until you get out.
Something to distract you. Mate, that clip colour can be fixed, Chatswood, by some Chinese dentist who's relocated from Guangzhou. He's an implant fucking wizard. You don't have to speak like that. Mum not going to shout you.
That's right.
Oh fuck, mate. Honestly, it's turning into today. I look in the corner and there's Bass sitting there, not getting into it, not getting out of it. I said, "What is Bass Stradelson?" Boomer said, "No way, mate. He's a copper." I said, "You're joking, mate. A copper? I'm getting out of here. Let's go, Anna." Let's go. Are you getting most of this? You've been here a long time, but you don't look like it. You know what I mean? You look like you might have just arrived. You look like you could have been at Christmas Island. And can you imagine you're on a boat, like you're made of balsa wood or something, you know, and you believe what the smuggler told you, and you're on your way to Christmas Island, and you think, fucking Christmas, I can't believe it. 2 weeks later, you're on the roof of the detention centre setting fire to yourself, because a dream didn't fucking turn out right. Anyway, I think that this is a great country, and the more migrants, the better. And we in the sex party, we have a lot of sex.
Keep up the good
With
work.
hey?
I said, keep up the good work.
But nobody fucking asks you, you idiot. I'd like to shake your hand, but I can see it's busy. I thought Chatswood would be a little bit more sophisticated, but mate, you ruined it. You've ruined the vibe. You turned it into a free-for-all.
My fault, guys, my fault, right?
Everybody thought they were coming to a civilised show here at the recently renovated Chatswood Club. Okay, 30 years ago, but you've taken us down into your fucking pit.
Sorry, mate.
Everybody here is... How many people are just angry at the fat guy? How many people just want to take the fat guy and kick him to death? Just after the Japanese girl apologised. Because that's what's wrong with Australia, people like that.
My fault.
These are sweet people who've come on a boat for maybe 6-7 months from Indonesia, wherever, Malaysia, come down here expecting something more sophisticated.
My fault.
They paid $30 for a show, it's probably only worth 12. And then you've come in, mate. They've let you out of the kitchen for a minute. Where you've been making those fucking rings. The boss said, okay, you can have a free night tonight, come out and watch Austen, but you got to shut up. And when the boss wasn't looking, you drank 6 bottles of vodka. And you thought, I'm going to fuck this show! And that's what you've done, mate! You fucked up the show! But what would an Austen Tayshus show be without you fucking the show? It would just be a show.
Forgiveness, brother.
I don't need to forgive it, mate. You've done exactly what I wanted. You've turned this show into a melee. This show is now a fucking mess! Even these people here who live in a fucking house built by Current Affair, they can't believe it, mate! You're like the rubbish in the street that hasn't been taken away. It's turned fucking putrid. Look at this chick here in IT for 5 years. She didn't come here expecting to see a $30 show which should have been $6, destroyed by a fucking fat boy from the kitchen. She would have thought, keep the fat fuck in the kitchen. Even the Sri Lankans can't believe it. These are people who live in a room, 15 people live in a room, thinking to themselves, it'll be better in the next generation. We will sacrifice ourselves for our kids.
They all want to join
Eating dogs in Ashfield.
They're all set me tonight. Can we have a job now?
What's that, Bill? Is that Bill? Who knows him? He's not a local identity, is he?
He's not even Australian.
He's not Australian. Where's he from?
Tommy.
Queensland.
Yeah, it's Tommy.
I was in Queensland when they introduced the random marijuana test.
Tommy.
And the coppers would come over your car with a tray of Mars bars and chocky milkshakes. And if you went for them and downed them in 10 seconds, they'd take you away. That's when... Did you get that joke?
No.
Do you smoke marijuana in that flat with 30 other Sri Lankans? Do you keep the taxi in the flat? Or Don't worry. These are sweet people. They actually work for me. They're on the payroll and they come in here and they're a butt of my jokes and we argue about, you know, whether it's insensitive or whether I'm being racist or, you know, misogynistic even. But inevitably, people don't like redheads. And that's why Julia got the boot. Is that right?
Yeah.
Julia got the boot because nobody likes a redhead. Better red than dead. Better dead than red. Eh? What?
Stop this kid.
Sorry? Alright, hold on. We'll get the Japanese chick up now. Deflect the attention. Would you like to apologise now? All you have to do is say,
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry for all the pain and destruction we caused in the Second World War.
Hey, what about the Ashes?
Sorry?
The Ashes.
What?
Australia played England in the Ashes.
Yeah, shut up. What is this? It's not even a show anymore, is it? It's completely, it's chaos, that's what it is. It's chaotic, isn't it? Don't you think? Where are you from, the civilised girl from IT? Are you from this suburb or?
Nearby, yes.
Well, who brought you here? Who told you to come?
Whose fault is it?
Is it the couple of the overlays? And then after this show, you're just going to get drunk and stuff and vomit on each other? I've come up with a new Australian flag. It's a melanoma on a white background. With the words, "Who gives a fucking rat's ass?" And that's how proud I am to be. I mean, I'm so proud to be Australian, eh? Because eventually, these sweet Sri Lankans will look like you. Be walking around going,
Pity! Have pity on them.
that's my point. Anyway, but there's nothing wrong with somebody actually strengthening what I'm trying to say by talking rubbish. Anyway, shall I continue? Because we're almost at interval, and I'll tell you what. Do people remember Bob Dylan at all? Do people remember the album? Do people remember that album when he said, do people remember that one? Well, do people remember, because I'm a big fan, do people remember that one? Well, you're in for a treat because in the interval, which is coming up in about 4 hours, that whole interval, I'm going to be doing 500 of Bob Dylan's songs. I don't know if you remember. That was a voice of a generation. You can see how fucked up that generation was. If he was the spokesperson for that generation, and if you go to Nimbin, you can see them all up there. Absolute fucking losers. Actually, no, if you can go that far, you can just come down here and have a look. If you want at the end of the show, you might just want to walk past the front table and look at what we could become. Look at what you could become. But do people remember that Pope when he said, not the Nazi Pope, Pope John Paul George Ringer, do people remember that one? When he said,
once I was a priest in Penrith, and all the children would be dropped at the church, and everybody would interfere with the kids. Before we knew what we were doing, before people pointed out that this is not the right way to behave with children. Touching children's genitals might not be the right way to behave. We didn't realize that 30 years ago. That taking a young 5-year-old child on a trip to Narrabri and saying in the middle of the trip, "Can I touch your genitals?" We didn't know it was wrong. Until George Pell told us that it might or might not be wrong. Nobody.
Do people remember that Pope at all? Anyway, when that Pope came to Australia, I was asked to host the concert. This was a very big deal. I don't know if people remember that tour. It was in 1995. It was at Randwick Racecourse. It was called the How Deep Does a Catholic Tour. Now, and this was my intro for that Pope. Ladies and gentlemen, make him welcome, please, the Pope. And he comes out on the Pope-mobile, this is true, looking like a tic-tac. Fuck, it's a dumpster. It's one of the dumbest crowds I've ever had.
No, they're scared. I'm fat, I'm not scared.
Honestly, mate, you've got some very serious issues. Are you a fat kid or?
Yeah, it was.
So you were ostracised from the
Donuts,
group?
it was donuts.
You were never in the number one group or the number two group?
donut.
You always felt very
It
alone.
was donuts.
But why do I have to be the recipient of all your fucking acts?
They were scared of
I'm
you.
just trying to do a show in this fucking place, and then I want to go home. Maybe I'll pick up some cash on the way out. But
Yeah.
why do you have to give me such a hard? I'm just trying to do a gig.
Well, just get on with
All we want
it. Get on with it.
is that you fucking die.
Tomorrow.
Everybody in this crowd wants you to go to the top of the stairs and just fucking throw yourself down. Even your mate Peter here, who conned me into this show, even he's thinking maybe it was a mistake to let you out of the kitchen. How many people, let's just see by a show of hands, how many people in the show want the fat guy to take his own life? Mate, it's fucking unanimous.
Have another look.
It's like the caucus room when Kevin Rudd got elected. There's a few dissenters, but most people want you to fucking die, you fat cunt. Sorry? Mate, you are incomprehensible. You're in the totally pure Australian state now.
Hey, listen to the cunt, right?
Sorry?
I'm fat, I know, but listen to the cunt. Next joke.
And you thought I was incarnated.
He said, I knew all incorrigible. It's lucky, mate, when you see this back on television next Friday, you're going to be so happy. So the Pope comes out, Pope John Paul George Ringo, he says,
G'day. How are you bastards going? Getting any? Stone the crows. Or more. Am I bagged after my trip from Dagoland? I don't want to piss in your pocket, but I'm as happy as a pig in shit to be here in God's own, to right, no worries. That said though, I want to have a chinwag about all the freckle punches, pussy fools, chick farters, poop hawkers, mattress munchers, shirt lifters, sly butchers and third burglars in the Archdiocese of Brisbane. I didn't come down in the last shower.
are you getting this, mate? You just seem bemused or perplexed. Are you okay? Because there's a lot of concepts in here that are fairly complex. And people do miss out on a lot of the meat of the filling at an $80 show.
I bang it on, but fair dinkum. I am the bloody Pope. You may think.
And because I'm a big fan of Louis C.K. Do people know Louis C.K.?
Yeah.
He's act from me like Sacha Baron Cohen did too. In fucking Nowheresville. Anyway, because I know a lot of people might have to do a wee-wee place. like Philip Adams up there. The prostate starts to grow and squeeze the urethra. A very painful exercise. More painful than it has been for me to come to this fucking hole. I would describe my experience here at the Chatswood Club. When they rang me and begged me to come out here, I said, my Chinese writers, they will write something special for this place. And they said to me, my head writer there, this is no shit. You can't relax at all. The stress out. It's a I was with Rose Hancock. Now her husband, Rupert Murdoch, the fat fuck daughter with $50 billion. It looks like that guy is fucking. Anyway,
That's why he's doing that.
I'm at the house. Got died. And Rose hanging in the back room in a coma. I thought to myself, this whole of the cash. I grab the pillow, I go in living room. Gina, the fat in another part of the house. I push hard down on Ling Fei. Push harder. I say, where is the cash, Ling, you motherfucker? Push harder down. Ling was grass for bread. I push harder. I say, where is the cash, Ling? You're right, you want to cross? I recognise you, don't worry, you're fine. You want 200 packets of chips or anything you want? 300. You want 5,000 donuts? Anyway. People might think that I was being unkind and I fucking was, because I've just reached saturation, you know? I've been an entertainer for longer than James Rain, and I'm thinking to myself, very soon I will become incomprehensible, as James did many years ago.
What do you mean very soon?
Sorry?
Very soon.
Mate, you're starting to get the shit, saying?
Not at all.
It's a show, mate. It's just entertainment. There's lighting, there's sound, there's an audience, barely. I'm going to finish up right now with the story of Christmas. The day is December 24 in the year 0. The place, Palestine. The scene is a dusty road, the road from Nazareth. How the fuck would I know? It was named after a band that had a #1 with Love Hurts. Okay, we look up at the sky and what do we see? A big bright star shining down on the tiny village of Bethlehem. Astrological science informs us today, of course, that this was undoubtedly the earliest recorded manifestation of Halley's Comet, the real one, not the 5-watt fuzzball we got this time around. So Joseph Christ, a poor humble convict, comes schlepping on the road leading a donkey. On the donkey sits his wife Mary and their 3 children, Ezekiel, Ellie, and Darren the spastic. Now, Joseph is sorely troubled, and not just from trying to wind his watch on from BC to AD. For Mary is heavy with child, and the child is not his. Not only is the child not his, but Mary's got a few kangaroos loose in the top paddock. She reckons the Holy Ghost slipped it to her. Well, you can imagine what this does to Joseph's self-esteem. Talk about a hard act to follow. Is God going to be well hung or what? Joseph approached Mary. My water's broken. This is pretty upsetting for Joseph and not a lot of fun for the donkey either. I must find some place to have my baby, cries Mary. After the reply, what out between the legs like everybody else? But just then the Lord gives him a sign. Actually, it was a neon sign saying Bethlehem, hoddle moddle. Neon was practically in its infancy in those days and all the E's were out. It's a bugger of a letter in Hebrew anyway. So Joseph fronts the bloke at reception. Yes, mate, we'd like a room for the night. Harbour view, colour TV, waterbed, casino, solar heated swimming pool. You must be joking, mate, he reckons. I mean, it's fucking Christmas Eve. Move your donkey. I've got a busload of Japanese tourists coming in. So they're stuffed. There's no room at the Flag Inn. But just then along comes a good Samaritan, smiling a beatific smile. His face aglow with the love of his fellow man, just like in a Christian Television Association commercial. See that place up there, he reckons? A 3-story tuck-pointed mud brick with a 5-car garage and in-ground heated pool. I live there! You assholes can rent the manger out the back. Now, we don't use the term manger to denote a tiny shithole anymore, with dirt floors strewn with straw and animals clucking, mooing and shitting everywhere. Might call it a barn or a cookhouse or a Vietnamese restaurant. Ezekiel, Ellie, get to work, boil some water, spread a clean sheet over the floor, and don't let Darren dribble all over it. They do as they told Joseph, sits her on the sheet with his cup of tea and watches Mary have the baby. Now the Hollywood version always shows Mary flat on her back, surrounded by Dorian cows, horses, sheep and ducks, all drawn by Walt Disney. In real life, she would have used the squat position, which is any third world mother of 12 with a test as quicker, easier and safer. We exclude the possibility of the odd cobra mongoose taking up residence before the knees can be pressed together. Unto us this day a child is born, cries Mary, a boy child. Not another fucking retard, says Joseph. And what's that fucker lying around its head? He's the son of God, cries Mary. Well, Joseph falls to his knees. Mary reckons it's a bit soon yet. Could he wait till morning? Fair crack of the fat. And what shall be his name, she asks. Trevor, says Ezekiel. Greg Matthews, says Eli. I should have fancy Jesus, says Mary, after the cooking bonanza. Well, you're all stuff, says Joseph. I've already sold the naming rights. Henceforth, from this day only shall be known as the Carlton United Brewery Son of God. Now, this is a 5-hour routine, but so far the reaction has been fucking abysmal. So I'm going to piss it off. But before I go, I just want to tell, I don't know if people know this, but I'm a volunteer firefighter / arsonist. And only recently, sorry, what? That was something personal? Or?
Yeah, my mum's been drinking my beer.
Hey!
That's the name of my new show. That summarises my entire life in this fucking business. Here at the Chatswood Club. Lo and behold, look where I am. I'm a volunteer firefighter / arsonist. My house is under threat in Duffy's Forest in Canberra a few years ago. So I did what every Australian would do if their house was under threat. I got all my memorabilia, everything I'd accumulated over many, many years, put everything into the car, every single thing I had into the car. And you wouldn't believe it, the fire didn't come to the house. I went round the back of the house and my wife wasn't looking, set fire to myself. Because I couldn't be fucked putting my stuff back in the house. I'm Australian. Good night. Thank you very much.
Give it up for Austen Tayshus. Thank you very much. Give it up.